Now, I know the Republicans and the conservatives go nuts about a value-added tax, but we have way too much taxation on wages. The Social Security tax is killing jobs. Too much taxes on investment and earnings and effort, and not enough on consumption. So one, go the consumption route. Second, let's stop pretending we're the policemen of the world. I listened to this thing last night, and it sounded like the warmongers' jubilee. They were going to tell China how to run sandbars in the South China Sea. They were going to meddle in the Ukraine, which is none of our business. They're going to have regime change in Syria. How many times do we do that disaster before we learn a lesson? So we need to massively cut defense. Every one of those candidates wanted to raise defense spending. What are they thinking? The Pentagon, as I said in 1981, is a pit of waste even then, and it still is even more. We're just putting out a new $13 billion aircraft carrier. Why do we need an aircraft carrier? Nobody else in the world has any. Okay, third thing, every one of them lied about Social Security. Everyone said no cuts or no cuts for anybody over 50.
And we know that that's where the money is.
That's where the money is. It's $1.5 trillion in Social Security and Medicare. If you don't tax the wealthy, all Donald Trump's friends down in Florida, the duffers living near the golf courses who are retired and collecting $30,000 or $50,000 a year from Social Security, they should be cut off. They should be means tested. And none of that came up last night.
All of these people are afraid to say, look, I'm the one who took your Social Security checks away. I mean, this is why they are afraid. We know that. But you're right. Something needs to be done because that's where the money is.
I agree with that. But there's 55 million people on Social Security. Probably 45 million need every dime of it. But there's 10 million who are part of the most affluent part of our society. Nobody's earned their full Social Security or Medicare benefits. They have to sacrifice like everybody else. So unless we dramatically means test now and reform the entitlements, drastically cut defense by 100 or 200 billion, not raise it, and if we don't find some new way to raise revenue, this 19 trillion that we have now of national debt is going to be 25, 30, 35, and we're going to be so far in the soup that you can't be rescued.
You mentioned the Federal Reserve and its issues. The Fed is meeting next week on the 16th. Are you expecting more stimulus? You had the European Central Bank yesterday come out with all this stimulus. You thought that was what the market wanted, and then after an initial rally, things sold off. It looks like the market's settling here, and we're going to see a different reaction this morning. But what's your take on the Federal Reserve next week?
Well, as I say, all the central banks of the world are out of control. Negative interest rates are almost criminal. That's taking money from savers.
But can the Fed raise rates next week while everybody else is lowering?
The Fed ought to get out of the way. I mean, you know, they say raise rates. 25 basis points, what's that? What's really important is 86 months of zero or near zero is a huge windfall to Wall Street gamblers.
They blow it.
No, Wall Street gamblers go out and use it as carry trade money. They can buy a bond, take the spread. They can buy a stock they think's going up, take a short-term gain. The only thing that NIRP, negative interest rates, or ZIRP, zero interest rates, do is provide totally justifiable.
The Fed's not going to go to negative interest rates. I mean, we're talking about whether the Fed does nothing or raises rates.
Well, the Fed ought to allow rates to go back up and normalize. How long are we going to wait? We're in as I said, we're in month 86.
Real quick, David, today, obviously, Nancy Reagan's funeral. You worked in Ronald Reagan's administration. Do you have fond memories of Nancy Reagan?
Yeah, I certainly do, and people have said that she was an extraordinary person. That's true. She was the rock of constancy alongside the president, but she was also the model First Lady. She understood what her role was, and she did it well. She understood her job was primarily in the East Wing, not the West Wing. It was to conduct the pageantry of the capital and the nation and not meddle in the policy like two people I can think of right now, one of whom's running for president on the grounds that she says she's already been president, and the other is in the White House and thinks she's co-president. That is not what Nancy Reagan did.
So you're talking about Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama.
That's right.
David, good to see you.